The Wichita hour is 7 o'clock has arrived, which means the audience questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. You will have, Steve has some cards. You will draw randomly throughout that, and then we will pick those questions as we go through. Again, let me give you the guidelines for it. The questions must be asked to all candidates, not to individuals. Questions should be stated in 1 minute or less. At the end of 1 minute, the microphone will be turned off. Please do not repeat questions that have already been asked, and please maintain a civil, professional manner when asking questions. Anybody else? Tony over that way? No, you don't have to write your question. We will ask you, and we have a microphone, and you'll stand up and you'll ask the question of the candidates. Please do not write down. It is not graded on penmanship or otherwise, but your verbal skills. No, just hold on to it for just 1 moment. Number 1.
Who has card number 1?
Who has card number 1?
It's got a card number 1.
It's not an L, it's a 1. There.
Go ahead and ask your question.
And you may ask your question.
Hold on to the mic.
Do you support collective bargaining?
We'll start this time with Mr. Cordova.
I would have to answer to that. If the teachers are capable to make their own decisions whether they want to join a union, I'm sure this is the union address question here. If they feel comfort in finding the union a safety net for them, I support them. Collective bargaining goes both ways. If you bring a problem to us, you better bring a solution. Not just one solution, but myself, 2 or 3 solutions so we can see what collective bargaining, see what is in the best interest, number 1, of our schools, our teachers, and our staff. Thank you.
Mr. Pacheco.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that I support collective bargaining. I think it's absolutely important that you have a dialogue between the employer and employee, and the only way you have that is through collective bargaining. As an employer, I want to hear what the teachers want, and as someone who's as an employer, I'm sure the teachers want to as employees, I'm sure the teachers want to be able to have somewhat of a say in what's going on with their life, essentially, their livelihood. And I think without any doubt that collective bargaining provides that, and to handle that any other way is not fair for those being employed, which are the teachers, and they're key to our education and the success of our students. Thank you.
Sir. Mr. Velasquez.
Yes, I do. This is one way we show support for our teachers, by listening to their concerns, and it's an opportunity for both sides to bring up valid points, and hopefully we all will have a common goal for, again, improving our children's education and come to an agreement. So it's a valuable forum for that. Thank you.
Mr. Chavez.
I'm actually quite glad that this question came up, because I've been hearing through the grapevine that I'm not a union supporter somehow. People have been telling me that I'm not a union supporter. That is completely not the case. I support collective bargaining, but let me say why in my perspective. I support the union because they represent the needs of the teachers, and they also need a safety net, because our teachers don't really have that salary to be able to protect themselves in the case of lawsuits or things like that. On the other hand, we need to be able to compromise. Both sides of the table need to be able to come forward and bargain. That's why it's called bargaining, because both sides have to give and take. We can't just go one side or the other. We have to listen to all positions and take all of it into account when we're making decisions for the school.
Ms. Martinez.
I feel if a situation arises that collective bargaining does need to take place, then I do go with it. I do feel that if that is need be to get the situation resolved and get it back on the right track, then yes, I will go for it. If we're blindsided on not knowing what the situation is, and then the union coming and say, we demand this, then I am not in support. It needs to be a fair table as far as that goes, but if the situation does arise that we do need to go that route, then I am in support of it.
Mr. Peralta?
I am in support of collective bargaining. However, one thing to keep in mind, the board does not negotiate contracts. That's on the level of administrative team and the union to work together to create a system that they can work together on. And then once that is done, it needs to be brought to the board for approval. But the bargaining and the working out of a contract has to be within the school system and not at the board level.
Mr. Sanchez?
I definitely support bargaining. It's the one tool that the teachers have to protect themselves. It always seems like when there's a cut, let's start with the teacher. This can't be. We've got to protect the teachers. And in Finland, they have the best education system in the world, and 100% of the teachers belong to the union. So you hear that unions can really destroy schools. I don't believe it at all. We need to have collective bargaining, and yes, I do support the bargaining.
Mr. Caldwell?
I kind of want to say no just to shake things up, but it wouldn't be genuine. I couldn't unequivocally say that as long as there's a union, there needs to be collective bargaining. It's the way you negotiate as bodies. And I used to think I was really pro-union, and then I participated in a collective bargaining session over the course of many months. And I'd still say I'm pro-union, and I think what I want to stress for purposes of this question is that the parties have to enter into negotiations in good faith to make collective bargaining happen and to make it mean anything. But absolutely, I support collective bargaining.
Mr. Silva?
Yes, I'm in support of collective bargaining. At this point, the reason why is, the way I look at it, we all have the best interests as the kids. The teachers, parents, everybody, it has the best interests as the kids. So the way I look at it, if you keep a happy teacher, you keep an efficient teacher. So that's why I support it. Thank you.
Mr. Ward?
I was raised in a union family. I was in the union every day. I was in a job in the corporate world. Absolutely, I support collective bargaining. I think the process needs to be used for more than just on the teacher's contract. It should be used as a vehicle for dialogue on how to improve the schools, how to improve the teaching profession, how to improve the education for our system. Thank you.